this is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson from Washington. I really wish I could be in Stockholm with you this week, and I'm so grateful to my dear friends, Speaker Andreas Norlin, Speaker Ruslan Stefanchuk, for inviting me to briefly address you today. I was fortunate to visit with my friend Speaker Stefanchuk most recently at the G7 Speakers Summit this fall in Ottawa, and I'd love to see each of you next time you come to Washington, D.C. I'm a little biased, but the view from my speaker's balcony down the National Mall is the best in town, and I'd love to have you come by. I'm really grateful that 60 parliamentary delegations have gathered to discuss such a topic important as this. Russia's flagrant and devastating attacks on the innocent people of Ukraine are unacceptable, and the principles of territorial integrity and state sovereignty are not up for debate. We're thankful to our allies in Europe, but also across the world, for stepping up their support to Ukraine, including tougher sanctions on Moscow and strengthening energy security through American LNG to free Europe from Russian leverage. Despite the vast physical distance between the U.S. and Ukraine, the Ukrainian people's fight for freedom and survival inspires us all. As a Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, we will continue to work together with President Trump, Republican and Democrat leaders in our Congress, and our European allies to help restore peace and prosperity for the Ukrainian people. After ending conflicts across the globe, from the Middle East to the Indo-Pacific to Africa, President Trump has demonstrated that he is determined to end wars and stop the needless bloodshed. We understand that peace cannot be achieved through weakness. Peace is secured through strength. And it is this principle that guides the new American foreign policy under President Trump's leadership. And we're prayerful that these international efforts will bring about a just and lasting peace for our friends in Ukraine. Again, I lament that I cannot join you this weekend in Stockholm in person, but I wish you a productive and fruitful discussion, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to address you. God bless you all.
I'm glad that the Ukrainian Crimean Platform and its parliamentary track continues to work and keeps attention on a simple truth. Every nation and every state must be respected, and the core principle that kept Europe peaceful longer than at any other time in its history must be protected. These principles are clear: respect for human life, no changing borders by force, and no spheres of influence, a polite term used to cover the desire to dominate other nations and wage wars of aggression. This is exactly what the Crimean Platform stands for, refusing to accept that launching wars of conquest is normal and refusing to normalize cruelty toward people and nations. Thank you for taking this principled position and for clearly stating that the annexation of Crimea in 2014 was illegal. We all understand the global reality. In a world of hundreds of nations, there are thousands of potential wars, some frozen, of course, some hidden under old deals, some still smoldering. But in most cases, peace is upheld by international law, by conventions, agreements, and the UN Charter. If these principles do not work here in Europe, then where will they work? It is a rhetorical question, and behind it lies a global fear that war, not peace, could again become humanity's everyday reality, as in darker times. We cannot allow this. Right now, we are at a critical moment, and we are working closely with the United States, with European partners, with many others to define steps that can end Russia's war against us, against Ukraine, and bring real security. And there is a lot of noise in the media, a lot of political pressure, and even greater responsibility for the decisions ahead. Putin wants legal recognition for what he has stolen, to break the principle of territorial integrity and sovereignty. And that's the main problem. You all understand what that means. He wants it not only from Ukraine, he wants it from the whole world, and it's very dangerous. And I want to stress one more thing. In the steps we've coordinated with the side of the US, we've managed to keep extremely sensitive points on the table, including the full release of all Ukrainian prisoners of war under the all for all formula, and civilians, and the complete return of Ukrainian children abducted by Russia. These are important steps, but to achieve real peace, more is needed. Of course, we all continue working with partners, especially the United States, and look for compromises that strengthen but not weaken us. And we will continue explaining how dangerous it is to pretend that aggression is something one can simply overlook and move on. And I ask you, do not stay silent. Do not be passive observers of history. Be participants. It is important to support Ukraine now, and I thank you for that support. It is important to support the negotiation process, and I'm grateful for every piece of advice and every bit of information we receive from European leaders. And it is crucial to support the principles on which Europe stands, that borders cannot be changed by force, that war criminals must not escape justice, and that the aggressor must pay fully for the war he started. And this is why decisions on Russian assets are essential. Please support these decisions, and above all, keep pressure on Russia. Russia is still killing people every day. Occupied territories remain occupied. And that means Russia remains a criminal state. Today, almost 70 parliamentary delegations are present. And if parliaments in Europe, in the world, do not close their eyes to this, then no one will. Thank you for your support. Slava Ukraini!